Gotta get a little groove with this. Hey.
Okay,
Hey,
I like
right?
this.
You see how we do? That's how we do. Welcome, everybody, to the Project FitFo podcast, where we sit with guests and we figure it the F out. Today, I've got a special one, as I always say every week, because I truly believe all my guests are special, but this one is near and dear to me because there's a story.
Oh, yeah.
There's a story, right? So, but ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Julissa Castellanos.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Also known as Jules. Also known as, do you have another nickname?
Julie.
Julie.
People call me Julie.
Yeah, and then
All the fam.
there's also the whole leg thing because
You started it. What was it? Quadzilla.
Quadzilla.
When I first got here.
Zilla, yeah. If you ever check out this girl's Instagram page, you do not want to do leg day with her. You will leave crippled. Just
Basically.
That's not for clients. That's just for any men, mostly men, because egos that try to like hang with Jules on leg day in the gym.
Yeah.
You're going to walk out or cripple out or like.
We may have to hold you down. Hold you as you're walking down the stairs.
Hence the reason why I refuse to do leg day with Jules.
2 years.
2 years, have not done it. I'm like, nope, you're not going to get me. But she is a master at her craft. She is a fitness professional at Self-Made Training Facility Dallas. Also is now supervising and operating the JustRod Fitness Corporate Wellness Program, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It is an honor.
We got you on the show. Hey,
Yes.
We got you on the show.
We're
Hey,
here.
we
We're
got-
here.
No. We like to act silly as well. As you notice with me and a lot of my other guests, we like to have fun. But when it's business, it is business. So, Jules, if you don't mind, if you could tell the audience how old you are, where you're from, where you grew up, and how'd you grow up?
All right. So I am 30 years old, and I am originally from Southern California. I was born in a small town named Baldwin Park, California. So right out of Los Angeles, so about 20 minutes out. And I was born actually in Bellflower, so like Long Beach area. And yeah, that's where I was born. And now, almost 2 years later, I decided to leave Cali, where I knew everything. And now here I am in Dallas, Texas.
LA. Yeah, do you say it like that? LA.
You know what? People out here, they're like, you do sound like a Cali girl. Every time I say Los Angeles or LA, they're like,
Yeah.
I can hear it.
Yeah, the LA. So you grew up, did you grow up in a poor town? Is it a small town or was it high income town or like what would you say was kind of the class that you were in at the growing up?
I would say is about maybe low to middle class town. So majority Hispanic area as well too. So most definitely I would say it would be more middle class for sure area that I grew up in.
Sounds good. And then so school wise, were you a good student? Talk to us a little bit about you growing up into your teenage years. What kind of a character were you? What kind of personality did you have? What was your main, characteristics, you would say?
All the above. So, so I went to a elementary, right, literally maybe 2 minutes from where I grew up, my house in Baldwin Park, named Byland Elementary School, from kindergarten all the way to 6th grade. And I ended up getting the presidential award, signed by George W. Bush in 6th grade.
Okay.
And I always say, I'm like, dang, I totally forgot I had that. But yeah, I didn't know how I got it. But one day I'm called during an assembly, Julissa Castellanos, you are, part of the, presidential, class or whatever. So yeah, so in 6th grade, went to Violent Elementary School. And I believe just from what I remember, I was a tomboy. I grew up with 2 boys, 2 brothers. So an older brother, Ray Castellanos, and then my younger brother, Christopher Castellanos. So I was the only girl. So I was toughed up and roughed up.
Are you a middle child or you're middle?
I'm the middle child. I'm the only girl. And just being in sports, my dad just always was like, you know what? You're the only girl, so I'm going to put you in all the men's sports. From wrestling, I wrestled starting in 2nd grade.
You wrestled in 2nd grade?
I never told you that.
Come on, man. We're here. We're listening.
Well, here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrestled. I started in 2nd grade. My dad was like, well, I'm going to need you to start defending yourself. You know, you're the only girl. And, you know, I want you to be able to, you know, be in a situation where you need to, you know, throw some blows or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he put me in wrestling starting in 2nd grade up until I believe I was 12. So 6th or 7th grade. And that was an experience because from what I remember, I never wrestled an opponent ever, a single girl. It was just boys. Yeah, and that was an experience because I'm like, I'm what? In 2nd grade, you're what, 6 years old, 7 years old? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But
you're about 6 years old, yeah.
Yeah, 5 years. Did it for 5 years. And that for itself was like an experience for sure. So, and
So
then I got into...
Did you get like any kind of bullying or anything that people would associate with the only girl wrestling boys? Like, did you get like any boys that were like, I'm not wrestling a girl?
You know what? I did actually have one dude. So I do remember this kind of vividly. So I'm wrestling this kid and he has me like on my head. So the mat, my ear is on the mat and he's pulling, like, I guess to pin me, right? And my ear is starting to like pull down. So I'm feeling like this tear. And then at the end, so I started crying, and my dad's yelling at me, you're not supposed to be crying. You need to pin him, you know. And I'm supposed to be like, okay, we need to be strong, you know. But I do remember at the end, him crying to his coach, but she's just a girl. I wrestled a girl, you know. So I'm like, I remember that because it made me like think, well, that's all I wrestled were boys. So, you know, they probably weren't used to it and, you know, think that maybe she's just, you know, a girl, so she can't wrestle. But,
so you speak of, and I love this. I love this how we dive into the conversation. So you speak of, how your dad was tough on you. He wanted you to like, so explain that dynamic.
So, yeah, growing up, I mean, especially with boys, I was just, like I said, like my dad was like, you're going to be pretty much my other son, you know. And my brothers to this day may tell me, they call me the Brister, the brother sister. Yeah. So my dad was really just always tough on me. He was the, you know, machismo. He grew up the same way with his parents, and he kind of pretty much did the same with us. You know, it's me being the only girl was more, you know, you're not supposed to cry. You have to be strong. And he just always had put that precedence on me. So I always grew up like, I can't cry. I can't show no emotion. I can't feel, you know, these feelings because my dad's watching. He has to see that I'm tough, you know?
Yeah.
And he just, you know, raised us all to have all that tough mentality, all three of us. And yeah, with him, it was just growing up until maybe college is when he starts to kind of simmer down a little bit, realizing I'm growing up and I kind of have to start spreading my wings, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
I know all about that.
And you know, yeah, you definitely know.
I know all about that. Well, oh Lord, just wait till my daughters come on this podcast. I'll be talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it is about college that you start to say, you know what, I need to back off.
Yeah.
Let them be.
Yeah.
You know, and whatever choices they make, they gotta. It's a tough road as a dad, and this isn't about me. This is your podcast, you know. But it is a tough road as a dad to have to literally take a step back and let them go off on their own, and potentially watch the train wreck happen. Yeah. And you can't do nothing about it as a parent.
Right.
Those parents that try to, it's like they have too much of a hold on their kids to where you have to let them go, like as an adult, and they have to learn the hard way. And like I've always told my kids, you know, a hard head makes a soft ass. Yeah. So you want to be hard headed, it's gonna hurt. But sometimes I want to save them, but I've actually realized that the best thing for me to do is just be like, I would suggest doing this, but don't tell them what to do, and then just sit back and go, let's see what happens, and then go from there. So,
but believe it or not, in college, like he definitely you can feel like I felt the distance for sure, not just distance. Like I was 9 hours away from home, and my dad legitimately, I called him one day. I was like, "Hey, my car is not working. It won't turn on." The car I had during college. He drove 9 hours just to take it to an auto shop because he knew I'm not gonna allow you to go to an actual auto body shop to take your car. I'm gonna drive up. He drove up there. He literally drove 9 hours to me. I'm like, dang. So we missed that. I missed it for sure. My dad just always being on my kind of cuss.
So yeah, you can curse. Go ahead.
On my ass.
Go ahead. Yeah. You can curse. Go for it.
But yeah.
So now that I see that dynamic and then going into high school, right? So what was your interest in high school? What got you, you were obviously athletic, you were wrestling. What other things were you doing?
So the way that it works, so I grew up in Baldwin Park, right? But I didn't go to Baldwin Park High School. So typically you would think that you live in that same town, hometown, or same city, you would go to that city's high school.
Yeah.
Well, my dad was a maintenance supervisor at South Almani High School. So when my older brother, his first year after junior high, so 9th grade, he went straight to South Almani because my dad wanted to keep his eyes on us. So he's like, well, you guys aren't going to. And that was a whole situation because I didn't want to leave my friends. My older brother didn't want to leave his friends. But we can't, argue with our dad. He's going to tell us we live under his roof. So we're like, well, we have to do it anyway. So same with me. Right after I graduated junior high school, went straight into high school at a completely new high school. I knew nobody. But my dad is a social butterfly. He told the entire school, his maintenance, workers, like, oh, these are my kids, and he introduced us to so many people. So that was an adjustment for me too. And getting to see my older brother too. And he really didn't want, in the beginning, he didn't want to be around his sister, So I was starting to feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know anybody here. So then my dad would introduce me to some of the students that he knew with the wrestling team or other sports teams and stuff. And that kind of helped a little bit. So that itself was a little different because we had to be on contract. So we had to be on our best behavior. But so the other sports that I played there, I did cross country, something I never thought I would just do. But I was like, all right, let me do it. I'll figure it out. So, yeah.
There's that
FitFo moment. Yeah. So I did cross country all 3 out of the 4 years, actually. 3 out of the 4 years. And then decided to jump into soccer. Just didn't want to do tennis because tennis was another option for me. And I was like, no, you know what? Let me try soccer. So did soccer 3 years as well. And then softball. Softball was my pride, my passion, my love of all sports. So I did softball all 4 years in high school.
Yeah. Yeah. You were probably a badass in softball, weren't you?
Man, I miss it so much. I miss it. Yeah, I miss it so much.
Softball is one. A lot of people, they sleep on softball. My daughter,
they do, yeah.
My oldest daughter was a softball competitor, and Lord, man, they're serious.
It's
people
a good
sport,
yeah.
Their softball. So, so you got that, and then you went to college. What was the route you were going to college?
So, towards my junior year and leading into my senior year in high school, I decided I wanted to take it to the collegiate level. So I got into a travel ball team while I was in high school. So I went into a softball travel team where you would get recruited through different colleges. But to get into the whole education part, I was not big in school. I was not a 4.0 student. I was not a 3.0 student. I was a barely making it student. I really was, to be completely honest. I was not about the books. But, of course, I did it because it was going to pay for my school. And, of course, to keep my dad happy also, and just to be, say I finished school. So, and of course, with the colleges that I was looking at and that were looking at me to recruit me, because you could be a badass in sports, but if they see your cumulative GPA is not where it's supposed to be to get accepted, then they're not going to accept you. And I got denied from some top schools I wanted to go to. UCLA was my ultimate. I wanted to go to UCLA so bad. So I looked up to a lot of the players there, but I knew my grades were not going to get me there. So I was like, well, time to look JC or any other schools nearby, So yeah, getting into college and having a travel team to help out with that as well. That itself too was, it was a journey because, I'm 16, and getting denied and then being maybe one of the last players my senior year to finally get a scholarship to play at a college because I believe one of the schools, I think it was in I want to say Mississippi, that was looking at me to play for their school, but my dad did not want me out of state. He was like, you're going to stay here. We're not going to take, and I wanted to leave. I'm like, if I can just go home, be away from home, some way, somehow, this would be my exit, But somehow a small private Christian university found me and they're like, we want her. Simpson University in Redding, California. It was like maybe an hour and a half from Oregon, so the tip top of Cali, northern Cali.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they found me, swooped me up, and they said sign her. So got a partial scholarship to play for Simpson University, and that itself, ooh, that's a story itself. Just college, I was scared. I cried when my parents dropped me off. Literally went straight to my dorm room, and I had a bunkie. A roommate where I didn't even know her, but I'm in tears, you know. And I did experience some racism out there as well too.
Mm-hmm.
That school was majority, you know, Caucasian, and the coach, you know, put me through some tough times for sure for the color of my skin. But that itself, you know, I had to go through. I had to speak to a psychologist over the phone from the school that my dad worked at. To help me get through, because I almost was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I really was going to quit college because of that experience itself.
Yeah.
And I've never said this on a podcast, by the way. So yeah. So
No, it's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool because at the end of the day, I mean, there's people out there that they need to hear this.
Yeah, no.
You know,
and if it can help anybody, because
and plus, I honestly believe
happens.
like it's, and as we're diving this and you're relaying all this information, you can see why you are who you are today.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's crazy.
It's crazy. I've known you for a few years now, and I can literally, as I'm listening to this story for the first time, because I haven't heard all of this,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
That's the story right
why
there.
Jules is the way she is. And I'm sure a lot of other people are probably, when they hear this, they're gonna think the same thing because
Right.
you know, knowing you. But go ahead. I'm sorry. So
No, it's
so
okay.
so now the softball situation, dealing with racism.
Mhm.
You know, what was your decision? Did you stay in college? Did you get out of college? What'd you do?
So yeah, I decided to stay. You know, it was something that I knew something I needed to figure out on my own. I was like, you know what? Yes, I'm already here. My parents aren't here. They've done a lot to get me to this point. There is no need for me to quit and look back. So speaking to a psychologist did help, but starting to kind of like build relationships and friendships, you know, with the softball players. I did built a good relationship with one of the girls that was actually from Torrance, California. So I was like, okay, cool. She's nearby my hometown. So we became good friends throughout our 4 years and still to this day. But starting to kind of just feel, you know, okay, it's part of college, you know, just keep pushing, take it day by day. And that's one thing that I go by is take it a day at a time, you know. And but college itself, you know, it was different for me because it was a Bible school. It was completely a private Christian university, and I did grow up Catholic, but it was something that the requirements were you had to take Bible classes. So that itself was an experience, but I learned so much just going through those courses and, you know, getting deep into the Bible itself. I'm like, dang, this is really interesting because I grew up Catholic, but didn't really know exactly what my religion entailed, you know?
Yeah.
So that itself was a good experience. And then going through, you know, learning or getting to know the team, you know, the softball team, and seeing how from freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, how just everything kind of transpired. And of course, going through college, you go through your college moments and your crazy, you know, party nights and stuff like that. So even if it was a private Christian university, we all were like, we got to make it happen.
We call that Japan.
We call that Japan.
Japan?
We call that
Is that what you call
Japan.
it?
Yeah.
Or Lejeune.
Or Lejeune. Yeah, it was our party. That was our college
Really,
parties.
yeah. We rebelled a lot.
Oh,
so,
man.
But yeah, I'm glad I stood through it. I, you know, stood the course because I did have a great last few years there for sure.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, graduated with my degree in psychology. So I have my BA in psych. And yeah, after that, oh man, there's so much more after that has happened. Because you know, Department of Corrections.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Yeah, we got to go into that story.
My life has been crazy ride.
So you are a former corrections officer.
I am.
As well. So
Yes.
yeah, she is, ladies and gentlemen, she is a badass. Absolutely.
But say, every time I meet Jules, I just find out another reason of why she's so fucking dope.
She's I'm telling you, here we go.
Thank you.
Corrections officer.
Yes.
How'd you get into that?
I had a friend that one day he posted something about going into corrections, and I was like, hey, are you like a cop now or something? He's like, yeah. He's like, well, just apply it. You know, you never know what's going to happen. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll go the law enforcement route. because I loved the jobs that I had through my degree. I worked as in an autism school as an instructional aide. Great experience. Loved the kids. I worked in a rehab facility with adults with bipolar disorder, drug abuse, things of that nature. So all that. But I was like, I need something new. I needed to get uncomfortable again. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just apply, see what happens. So this was, I believe, 2018 when I applied. And then 2017, getting into 2018. And I didn't hear back until maybe a year later. And that's when I started the whole process, the background screening, the psych, what do they call it, the eval? Yeah. And then going through the whole agility test. So anyways, kind of fast forwarding through that, they finally gave me a call I believe it was in 2019, beginning of 2019, that I got accepted into an academy starting February 2019. And I would be in a 16-week academy in Galt, California. Have you ever heard of that city, Cali?
No, where's that at?
Oh, my gosh. It was like maybe an hour and a half past Sacramento.
Okay.
Literal middle of nowhere.
All
I'm
right.
like, oh, my gosh. So that itself, me living in Redding, California, seriously just a very small town. It was like a repeat of that because it was a literal small town, like right by Sacramento. But yeah, so I did a 16-week academy, and it was in February 2019 up until June. So I graduated in June of 2019, and on a Friday, and then straight into them gates Monday, after that weekend.
Wow.
Straight into the gates. So that was an experience. I worked with the youth, so it was Youth Authority. And I was very scared. I was very nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh, now I'm going into the actual, the units, the prison, and they tell us, everything you need to know in the academy to prepare you. But it was the opposite. I was like, wait, they tell us to make sure we don't wear makeup because you don't want to attract anybody in there, females, right?
Yeah.
And then always maintain professional, most definitely. And they tell you, you're making sure that you're not giving them your information, things like that. And it's like, a lot of the employees had a lot of good rapport with the inmates. And I'm like, okay. So, of course, I want to go in there and still, try to maybe help, change a life by giving them my story or something, But I also had that, you're not knowing nothing about me because, I'm coming in here fresh, rookie. But, yeah, it was maybe towards the end of, it was in 2020. So this was in the beginning of when the pandemic hit, when it kind of was like, this is not for me anymore. So what happened was I just felt like, I don't know, management or whomever was above us was just not, like I told you, I want to feel like I'm being led. I want to be able to come to someone as a mentor that I can, look up to. But there's none of that in there. You got to figure it out on your own, But I also felt like this wasn't for me. It was a career that, yes, money was nice, but mentally I was like, I'm waking up dreading going to work for 16 hours a day. And throughout that also, I was prepping for my bodybuilding shows too. So 2019 is when I started my first prep. I was like, you know what? This will help me at least, get away from, what I think about at work. But yeah, I decided one day, I was like, you know what, this ain't for me. And I honestly just was like, I'm quitting. That's it.
And this is right before pandemic or this
in the middle of the pandemic.
Middle of it. Okay.
Towards the summer. Yeah.
So then you got done with that.
Got done with that.
The corrections officer gone.
Out the way.
Let's
Chapter
go.
done.
What's the next stop?
So I was unemployed for a couple months, honestly. And then I had friends that were
when
into...
you were unemployed, where were you living? What were you doing?
So I was living in Camarillo at that time because that's where the facility was in Camarillo. So I was like, maybe less than 10 minutes from the facility. So I was living there. Obviously had my, my apartment. I had a roommate at the time. So I had to kind of had money saved up. So I'm like, I'm going to have to just wait till the lease is done. Did just that. And was unemployed, collecting unemployment for a couple of months. And then in the meantime, I was like, you know what? I have to find a side hustle or something because I can't just sit up in here and do nothing, And while that was all going down, I was also prepping for a show. So I'm like, dude, I have so much going on. I have no job, X, Y, and Z. So I decided to get into Herbalife. So I got into Herbalife. I'm sorry.
We're going to take a pause.
Take a break.
We're going to take a pause. Yeah, we're going to take a pause on Herbalife. So you ventured into the Herbalife
I sure
community,
did.
and
I
then what'd
sure
you do
did.
from there?
Gosh, I'm real getting into detail at
Let's
this point.
go.
So I started making protein donuts out of my apartment in
Okay.
Camarillo.
Nice.
And selling protein donuts through Herbalife. Making money,
Was this a FitFo moment?
It was a FitFo moment. Oh my gosh, yes. I was trying to figure it out, man. I was like, you know what? I can't just sit up in here and, not do a damn thing. So yeah, figured it out. I was like,
So
let me
this
just
is
do
now
it.
2020 going into 21.
Yeah.
What
towards the
we
end of the
doing
year.
in 21?
So into 2021, well, in the midst of that, so at the end of 2020, I was like, I'm gonna just probably start going for my cert through NASM. So I was going through that, studying that as well. And then leading into 2021, I was already through, I believe, my second prep for bodybuilding. So I did 2-figure shows, and 3 wellness, but it was on my second show or prep for that. And I went through my competing and stuff. And then, got my cert and moved back home in the meantime. And then I was like, you know what? I need to, probably take this into a career, personal training, because going through all of 2020, I was also sharing my journey through my bodybuilding, and, showcasing that on social media. And people were like, hey, are you a trainer? And I'm like, no, I'm not certified yet, but that always stood in the back of my mind. Like, you know what? People are really inspired by this and me sharing my journey. Maybe let me take this to the next level at some point. So I had people mentoring me through that as well. So into 2021 is when I got certified, and I was like, you know what? I was like, this is what's going to happen. So I ended up going back home, and then I trained my clients out of a small gym. So my old bodybuilding coach's gym in Long Beach, California. And yeah, that's where it all started, the personal training journey. Yeah.
So you were in Long Beach. So now, fast forward.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to fast forward to 2022.
Okay.
Because this is where everything kind of
Oh, yeah. And
Took
that's
a-
where I'm here.
took a change for you, right?
Yeah.
So this was now April of 22,
Yes.
leading into May
Mm-hmm.
and June, which
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But go.
Okay. So April leading into May. So what happened was I'm scrolling on Instagram and I'm like, you know what? I knew in the back of my mind I wanted to leave Cali at some point. I needed to get uncomfortable. Here I am with another uncomfortable moment in my life where I'm like, I am feeling where I'm stuck with my business, with life. I needed to just try my best to figure out how to level up. And I wasn't feeling, those uncomfortable moments through like other mentors or people that I can say that I can look up to. Didn't really have that at that moment.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm looking through Instagram. And like I've told you, I went to the Self-Made in Long Beach, wanted to train out of that facility. But at that point in my life, I could not afford the rent. It was a great facility. They treated me well. They created content for me and everything. But I was like, you know what? I'm so sorry. I could not do this right now. So I'm like, at one point in my life, I will be out of Self-Made though. And that was always like it's going to happen moment, right? So April, May, I reached out to you and I was like, I need to set up a call with you. I wanted to eventually like maybe meet up with someone here in Dallas that the Self-Made out here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you set up a Zoom call with me. That's what happened.
Yeah.
In May. Yeah, it was in May.
Yep.
April or May. And it was very just, hey, yeah, let's jump on it. What's your availability? And Mark and I, we set up a Zoom call and you linked me up with the old managers of Self-Made in Dallas. But yeah, after that, I was like, you know what? I definitely need to follow this guy. I was like, I need to see, how I can get my way into elevating my business because I definitely wanted to elevate my business for sure.
Yeah.
So from that, I think I started following you on Instagram and I was like, okay, you posted you're having a business seminar in June 2022. Yep. And I was like, did not hesitate at all.
Yeah, you were
Got my
one of the
ticket.
first ones that signed
Yes.
up. Yeah.
And I learned so much at that seminar. And I was like, you know what? This is exactly what I need. I need someone that has been there, done that, and that can help me with my business. And I decided I'm going to be in this hustle culture. this is where it's at. I don't want to, work for anybody anymore. I feel like if I ever do, it's someone that could definitely mentor me in the right direction, right? So, yeah, I attended your business seminar, and that's when Daisy too. That was the first time meeting her there at that seminar as well.
Daisy actually, that was probably her like fourth or fifth
Really?
seminar.
Okay.
Because she just kept coming back.
Yeah.
Every single one. And,
I don't blame her.
And
Yeah.
it was dope because she was just like, every time I come, I learn something new.
Yeah.
And because I just kept updating it. But then you showed up and it was like, that was my last one. So,
Yes, yeah.
because that actually was where I decided to move to Dallas.
And you said that day.
So I said it that day where I said, hey, this is my last business seminar here in California because I'm moving to Dallas and I'm taking over the Self-Made Dallas facility. And
Yep.
I want to say it was after I left and I already established here. I think you reached out to me.
That's what I did. But when you said those exact words, I'm like, I think this is all aligning. At the seminar, when you said I'm taking over Self-Made Dallas, I'm like, okay, it's not going to be, it was either Arizona, Dallas, or Seattle that I was going to leave California for. And when you said that, I'm like, great mentor, business, mindset, everything. And yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm going to hit him up the moment I say, like, I'm going to move out there. And I sure did. October. Yeah, October.
Yeah, October, you hit me up, said, hey, I'm coming out there. And I said, all right, I'll be ready for you. And funny story, and I'm going to share my side of this part because it's funny. When you came, you started in November of 22 at Self-Made Dallas as a trainer in the facility. And you had a little bit of a struggle at first.
I absolutely did. Oh, man.
She said little.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell them what your struggles were.
Man, so I'm completely in a new state where I don't know a single soul, but Mark. I'm just here, me and my dog. I decided just to move cross country.
Yeah, because Daisy wasn't here neither.
She wasn't here, no. But we had followed each other on Instagram already, so. But yeah, so moved out here, hit up Mark, didn't know anybody, and I needed to find clients. Like, I was like, I don't know any single person out here. And it was something I needed to figure out. But anytime I would see Mark, he would tell me, what's up? How's everything going? And he just knew by the look in my face was like, step into my office, let's go.
Yep. And there was the infamous day, though. There was the infamous day that I think turned it. And I don't remember what month it was.
I want to say it was December, January, the following
I think it was
year.
January time frame, I want to say, 23.
Yeah.
And I remember you walking by the desk, and I was sitting at the desk in the front, and you walked by, and I saw the look on your face. And the look on your face was just straight defeat. Like, you were just like, I'm done. And I looked at you, and I said, hey, what's up with you? You all right?
Yeah.
And you turned, and you looked at me, and you were like, dude, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't have any clients. I just...
exact words came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Like,
and
I don't know.
And it was the look on your face where you were like on the brink of crying,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't cry, but you were like right there.
I do remember I wanted to so badly. Because...
And then I looked at you and I said, what did I say? If you remember.
You know exactly, but I don't remember. But it was basically like
I said, hey, dude.
What the... Yeah.
Yeah, I said, hey, dude, I don't want to see none of that shit.
Yeah.
This is, for you out there in the crowd, I know who I can talk to like this and who I can't. Some people like that type of leadership and need it. I'm one of those types of people that I need people to be. My mentor is a little more harder on me than the average individual because I need that. Yeah. I need somebody to be like, hey, dude, get your head out of your ass now.
And
like,
I need that.
Well, I could tell she needed that. And I said, hey, I don't want to see none of that shit. Get your ass out there and go find some damn clients. You're going to make it perfectly fine. You're good. You need to trust in yourself. And you need to be confident. Stop sitting here with the little boohoo bullshit. Get your ass out there and go make it happen. And she looked at me, and I was waiting to see the response to see if it was going to, either the tears were going to come out. Or she was like, and she looked at me, she curled her lip, and she said, all right.
Yeah.
And she was like, I got you, Mark. And I was like, you sure? You got me? And she's like, I got you. I said, okay.
Yeah.
Here was the great thing about you. And I want the crowd to know this. Everybody who's watching this, please understand this. This is what makes great people great. She took that. She ran with it. Mm-hmm. And I want to say it was that week or like 2 weeks. You got like 4 clients.
Yeah, I had 4. You sent me one, and then I believe it was through the website right away. I was like, And then when you asked me again, like just an update, I'm like, 4 clients. You're like, okay, there we go. Keep going, you know? But yeah, 4
because I
clients-
wasn't going to
4
celebrate just the 4 clients. I was like, no, we need to keep moving.
Exactly.
We need to keep moving.
Exactly
and you
what you
did
told me.
that. And
Yeah.
every single month I would ask you, oh, you good?
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, I'm good. I'm and it was the level of focus and intensity that you had on your growth.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an example for many different demographics.
Right.
Your
yeah.
story speaks of so much, but so many different demographics
Yeah.
that you encompass. Women,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you're like, hey, I don't give a shit if I'm a lady or, you know, like I'm not a damsel in distress.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out there and kick ass. I don't
Figure it
I
out.
don't need nobody to freaking figure it out for me. I'm gonna figure it out. And you did, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
The fact that, you know, you're Hispanic and you dealt with what you dealt with at your former college,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And dealing with that. And then just the fact that you're out here on your own,
Yeah.
right? With
That was
nobody. You got no family. Your family's in California.
A big step. Yes.
You know? And
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna help you.
Mhm.
Not like that.
Right. No, I exactly.
Right? Yeah, you know.
He
so,
did, but not like that.
Yeah, not like that. Not like, you know, oh, pobrecita. It's okay.
no.
No, that ain't happening. You know what I mean? So, hey,
Yeah.
get out there and go find. And the thing is that you did it.
Yeah.
That is so commendable on for you. So
Thank you.
you know, I respect you a lot for that hustle. And it's an example for everybody out there who finds themselves in binds and finds themselves at brinks where they're like, I want to quit.
Right.
And all you needed was a little like swift kick in the ass for you
That's
to be
literally
like,
just a fire in my ass to
and-
keep going.
but then I left you alone and you took it and ran with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then, which is beauty, let's fast forward to June of 23,
Oh, geez. Yes. Okay.
because that was another.
Another one where
Yeah.
business was going great, and then
Yeah.
you know I had to take another pause. Well, a pause, but so just kind of rewind a little bit. So in January, February of 2023,
Mhm.
so for those that don't know the story, I have a niece at 11 years old, or I'm sorry, my cousin, 11 years old. She was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease that was causing her kidneys to fail.
Mhm.
So I did tell my aunt the moment we found out she was diagnosed that if you needed me, I will not hesitate. And she kept that in mind. So January, February 2023, she texted me. She said, hey, she's on the active list for her needing a donor. No hard feelings if you decide to decline, but I know that you said that you would be there for her if she needed you. I legitimately said, what do you need me to do? I'm here. Like, what do you need me to do? So went through the whole process. So I had surgery. I donated one of my kidneys to my niece. She is now 14. But yeah, so she needed a kidney. They were both failing her. And June 2023, I am one less organ.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I donated my kidney.
Come on, everybody with a round of applause for her, for Jules. Man, Lord have mercy. There we go. I tell you, wow.
Yeah,
You know, that takes a lot.
yeah,
But that ain't even the whole story.
yeah.
Because this is what the beauty of this is. And for all you out there that are like, oh my God, I can't, you know, my business is not doing well and this and that.
Let me tell
This
you.
girl took
Oh,
a
my
pause, gave up a kidney, right? I mean, hey, much respect. But then took a break for 2 months,
Yeah, July.
hit me
July.
up and said, hey, I'll be back in August. And I said,
Are you sure?
I said, yo, you sure? Like, you just gave up a kidney. Like,
Yeah.
you know, don't take a rest, right? And I got the dad in me came out, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you know, you need your rest. No, I'm good. Lost some clients
Right. Yeah.
because of the fact that you were gone for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Came back
Yeah.
2 months later and almost picked up, like,
Yeah, right back at it, honestly. And yeah, within those 2 months, I knew, especially going through, you know, running your own business and things like that are going to happen. Life is not always going to be, you know, rainbows and butterflies, especially as a business owner. You're going to have moments like that. But in my case, yes, having surgery and having to recover, it was real hard for me to just sit at home and, you know, find ways to move, but also run my business, you know.
and
Granted,
your mom came out to
She
to
did.
take care of you. Yeah,
yes.
you can't.
Love
Shout
her.
out to
Shouts to my
mama.
mom.
Yeah.
She literally took off a whole month of work to come and take care of me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
You come from good family.
Yes, I love my family.
That's awesome.
Great support system. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Yeah, so she was with me for a month, you
Mhm.
know, and made sure I was okay and everything smooth because she knows me. I'm very stubborn, hard headed. Like I will get up and try to find ways to move, and I couldn't. I literally had the middle of my stomach opened up, you know.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, so running a business, you know, and having to be on a pause for 2 months in person, but online, I'm also an online coach as well. So that was still running.
Mhm.
But of course, I lost some clients in the midst of that in person. So yeah, you're right. Picked it right back up in August. And I'm like, you know what? You know, how to, you know, start from scratch again, you know, promote myself and go out there, you know, make it happen. And yeah, sure enough,
But
did
your
again.
workouts too. You came back in the
yeah.
gym and you wasn't doing the same types of
I
workouts
was not.
you were
Oof.
doing before. And
Yeah.
I know that kind of bothered you
It did.
because
It was tough.
I mean, everybody knows you as, you know, Jules with the Quadzilla, you know, and you came in and you had gotten a little bit more, you know, behind on your workouts, obviously.
Yeah, I
and, you know,
lost
rightfully
weight.
so.
Definitely lost weight, muscle mass, most definitely, which
Mhm.
rightfully so, you know.
Mhm.
And of course, I wasn't cleared to lift any weight until week 6 post surgery.
Mhm.
So I remember documenting that in the gym, recording myself finally lifting at least more than 5 pound dumbbells. And you know
Mhm.
me, lifting
Yeah.
more than that, you know, that I'm used to, but you know how to take care of my body and make sure that, you know, they said that, you know, you can risk getting a hernia,
Mhm.
or, you know, tearing the tissue, the stitches and stuff.
Mhm.
So I had to really just literally start from scratch. Like I was new to the gym again, and I knew it was going to happen. You know, it wasn't a surprise to me, but it was
Mhm.
tough. It was definitely so tough because you see all those weights around. I'm like, oh my gosh, can I just go lift that real quick? And I had my mom on my ass too. She would see my story. Why are you lifting that? I'm good, mom. I'm good. No, mija, no haces caso. You're gonna hurt yourself. How's your stomach? Like all family. Like, hey, are you okay? You're not supposed to be lifting. I'm good. I'm good. You know, but that's just me because I'm
Yeah.
like, I know my body. But yeah, that itself was hard because you know I was used to my own routine and you know slinging some weights. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely an experience. Most
And then
definitely.
shortly thereafter, I mean, really, you got back on the grind, and I mean,
Mhm.
everything worked out really well.
Yeah.
And you recovered. You got back into your workouts. You started doing it. So, um, and then we lead into where we're at today. You
Yeah.
know, because I mean, yes, that was last summer, but you know, this whole year, you've done really well in your business. Business has picked up.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, right now, you are now leading our corporate wellness program for
Mhm.
JustRod Fitness. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I remember right before surgery last year, you had told me, you said, hey, when you're back, I have a corporate wellness, you know, program that I'm about to start up. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, and you said, I want you to be a part of it. So that was an idea you had a year ago. And now that we're here, fast forward to a year later, you know, it's been an experience for sure. It's an opportunity that I feel like is very new to me for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I'm figuring it out as we go, you know, and I do honestly love that, you know, I'm able to be a part of the team as well. And, you know, like you said, ride the train, you know, we're going to go places. And I do strongly believe in your vision.
Yep.
And like I told you, you know, having a mentor that I can definitely, you know, help me, you know, through my journeys as well. And yeah.
Well, I think that what I love is as we've showcased through this
Mhm.
whole podcast is
Yeah.
your work ethic.
Yeah.
I mean, it is impeccable. It
Thank
is,
you.
you know,
Thank you.
literally. And when, and for you leaders out there, when you find people like Jules, these are the ones you have to literally nurture to become the best of the best. They're already up there, but I'm just giving you some tools to take you to that next notch. So the whole intent is, and you hear it here, and I say things out loud because it's manifesting.
There you go.
Manifest
Hey.
Fitness Institute. You
There
see
you
me
go.
rocking. But the whole thing is like being able to give you the tools to be able for you to run this company the way it needs to be ran.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and I believe in when you see even a smidget of like, hey, that's got promise, that person has promise, then nurture it, you
Right.
know, feed it and feed the system. And I think with you giving you all the tools of success, and then you're just like literally running with it now.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna have a team of trainers that are under your charge. You're gonna be running teams. You're gonna be, you know, tapping into corporations and their, you know, HR benefits and allowing their employees to come and get personal training. So
It's been great. It's been great so far.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's because you also see something in me that I probably don't even see myself.
Yeah,
So,
and
which
you know,
is-
and that's the thing. That's the thing is like you don't see it, which is. But now I hope that as you're telling your own story, that you do see it.
And I have a problem with doing that. I think we've talked about this
Yeah.
before, where it's like I know so much that I've gone
Nobody
through.
took you to Reading.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody took you to what is it, Galt?
Galt.
Right? Nobody took you there.
Wanna say
Nobody
that.
made you be a corrections officer. Nobody made you compete in 5 different, bodybuilding competitions.
Yep.
Nobody did that. Nobody moved you to Dallas, Texas. You
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody made you give up a kidney.
Yeah.
That was you.
It was on me. Yeah, you're right.
That was
Yeah.
you. Nobody did that.
I have a hard time giving myself grace. That's what it is.
Well, shit. We're giving it to you right here. So for everybody watching this, make sure
But-
you leave a comment,
Yeah.
give some grace to this woman for all her accomplishments because she's phenomenal. Any parting words to the crowd? These are called gems. So you
Yeah.
give the crowd a gem, right?
Yeah.
And it's basically saying something that they can take with them and they can always remind themselves whatever moments. So go ahead.
I would definitely say to those of you watching is to always believe in your purpose. If you have a purpose, keep going. Their struggles are supposed to happen. And when there's struggle, there's going to be some light about to shine through that. So when you start to feel those hard times, know that those lows are going to end up at highs. And never stop fucking working because you're meant to have all these hiccups, through your journey, whether it's in life or personal, family, business. Keep fucking pushing and also take it a day at a time because you never know what today's struggle is going to bring for the days to come. So, yeah.
Beautifully said.
Ooh.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Exactly. So where can they find you? On
Instagram, SummerJules. So we're almost in the summer, yeah? We're sticking to SummerJules. SUUMMER.
Yeah, make sure it's 2 U's. 2
Yeah,
U's.
2 U's.
SUU, right? Summer
Yeah.
Jules.
Mhm.
And anywhere else? That's it for right now?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
That's it for right now. Summer
Mhm.
Jules on Instagram. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please go give her a follow. Also,
Thank you, guys.
by the way, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I
Appreciate
appreciate you
you.
being here. I appreciate you being a part of our team,
Thank you.
being the boss that you are, because we're going places. You're absolutely
Most
right.
definitely are.
This episode also is sponsored by our self-made Better Alkaline
Better
Water.
alkaline water.
Absolutely. So come to
Yes.
Self-Made Training Facility Dallas. Come get yourself some water. Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to this podcast, Project FitFo. Get it out there. Tell everybody about it. Watch some
Yes.
episodes. Watch Jules' episode. Share it with people. Also, the Instagram. We're also on Spotify and YouTube as well. So make sure you go
Nice.
on both.
There
Okay,
we
you
go.
get the visual on YouTube. You get the audio on Spotify. And when all else fails, don't forget to figure it the F out. And we are out of here.
Yes.
Hey, hey, hey.
Okay, music. I like that.